All right, hello class. Hope you're all doing well. Sorry I can't be there with you in person, but this will have to suffice. We're just gonna pretend like it's a normal day in class. We're gonna go over the volumes of V for Vendetta. Those volumes today are 5, 6, and 7. I will try to get through all of them as quickly as I can without rushing. And then, of course, this video will be available in the event that it runs long or something like that, or you need to go back and rewatch it. You'll be able to find it on Blackboard. So, hope you're all doing well. I'm doing well. My child is doing well. So, thanks to those of you who have sent well wishes. I may not have responded, but I do very much appreciate it. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about Volume 5. May take a second to load here. My internet is pretty terrible. All right. Volume 5. All right, we'll get through the first couple of pages here. We got some kind of building, picture of V on the television, and here we go. Now, if you'll recall, in the last volume, he had broken into the place where they broadcast the propaganda, and he had stuck his own message inside. So this is his message as it is being delivered to the people. February 23rd, 1998, peak time. I suppose you're wondering why I've called you here this evening. Well, you see, I'm not entirely satisfied with your performance lately. I'm afraid your work's been slipping and, well, I'm afraid we've been thinking about letting you go. Oh, I know, I know. You've been with the company a long time now. Almost, let me see, almost 10,000 years. My word, doesn't time fly? I remember the day you commenced your employment, swinging down from the trees, fresh-faced and nervous, a bone clasped in your bristling fist. Where do I start, sir? You asked plaintively. I recall my exact words. There's a pile of dinosaur eggs over there, youngster, I said, smiling paternally all the while. Get sucking. So it's obviously a reference to evolution, the start of human civilization. The start of human civilization was about 10,000 years ago, they believe. That's when agriculture generally started, and so that's what he's referring to. Chapter 4, a vocational viewpoint. Well, we've certainly come a long way since then, haven't we? And yes, yes, you're right. In all that time, you haven't missed a day. Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Also, please don't think I've forgotten about your outstanding service record, or about all of your invaluable contributions that you've made to the company. Fire, the wheel, agriculture. It's an impressive list, old-timer. A jolly impressive list, don't get me wrong. But, well, to be frank, we've had our problems too. There's no getting away from it. It's your basic unwillingness to get on with it. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you know what I think a lot of it stems from? I'll tell you. It is your basic unwillingness to get on within the company. You don't seem to want to face up to any real responsibility or to be your own boss. Lord knows you've been given plenty of opportunities. We've offered you promotion time and time again, and each time you've turned us down. I couldn't handle the work, Governor. You wheeled. I know my place. To be frank, you're not trying, are you? Okay, so he's talking to, this is kind of funny, he's talking to like the human species as though it was a worker for a corporation and he's the CEO. And he's like, you've done some good things, but well, you really haven't taken responsibility. And then here when he talks about promotions, if you look behind him, this is a statue of the Buddha, of Siddhartha Gautama. So promotion being like enlightenment or like becoming better than yourself, kind of, Buddha, Christ, all of these different people that have set models for people to attain. And he says, to be frank, you're not trying, are you? And here's the picture of the chancellor, right, the fascist dictator. You see, you've been standing still for far too long, and it's starting to show in your work. And I might add, in your general standard of behavior. The constant bickering on the factory floor has not escaped my attention, nor have the recent bouts of rowdiness in the staff canteen. Then, of course, there's, well, I didn't really want to have to bring this up, but, well, you see, I've been hearing some disturbing rumors about your personal life. No, never mind who told me, no names, no pack drill. I understand that you are unable to get along with your spouse. I heard that you argue. I am told that you shout. Violence has been mentioned. I'm reliably informed that you always hurt the one you love, the one you shouldn't hurt at all. We have, what's that guy's name? Dascom? standing in front of the monitors. All right, let's let that load for a second. And what about the children? It's always the children who suffer, as you're well aware. Poor little mites. What are they to make of it? What are they to make of your bullying, your despair, your cowardice, and all your fondly nurtured bigotries? Really, it's not good enough, is it? And it's no good blaming the drop in the work standards upon bad management either. Though to be sure, the management is very bad. In fact, let's not mince words. The management is terrible. We've had a string of embezzlers, frauds, and lunatics, liars and lunatics, making a string of catastrophic decisions. This is a plain fact. So here you have Hitler, Stalin. Looks like this might be Lenin down here. I guess this is Mussolini. But who elected them? And it shows, like, I love this image because you see just like the basic family sitting on the couch. You know, dad's drinking a beer and everybody's just kind of like staring dumbly into the TV. That's definitely an intentional position. It was you. You appointed these people. You who gave them the power to make your decisions for you. While I'll admit that anyone can make a mistake once, to go on making the same lethal error century after century seems to me nothing short of deliberate. You have encouraged these malicious incompetents who have made your working life a shambles. You have accepted without question their senseless orders. You have allowed them to fill your workplace with dangerous and unproven machines. You could have stopped them. And I like this image here with the mushroom cloud, right? Probably Hiroshima. All you had to say was no. You have no spine. You have no pride. You are no longer an asset to the company. I will, however, be generous. You will be granted 2 years to show me some improvement in your work. If, at the end of that time, you are still unwilling to make a go of it, you're fired. Sorry, we gotta wait for the thing to look. You're fired. Okay, and then it shows him getting shot. So we're actually led to believe that this is V being riddled with bullets here. That will be all. You may return to your labors. Normal service will be resumed as soon as possible. So we end that broadcast with the image of V, the terrorist, having been shot to death on the floor, surrounded by broken glass and people with guns. And then we have this interesting view of the birds here. And here we are with Inspector Finch's vacation. Okay. Inspector Finch is actually a really interesting character. And that's one of my quarrels with the film, is that I don't think the film does a good enough job at showing just how interesting Inspector Finch really is, because he really is a very complicated character. Okay, so here he is. He's walking on the beach. Got seagulls above him. He's going to smoke his pipe. Why the bloody hell did I hit him? It wasn't his fault. He'd only been on the job for a week. Mr. Finch? Creedy. Peter Creedy. Taking over from Mr. Allman to the finger. He's through here. We've not touched him. You heard what he did. Bloody ingenious. Breaks into Jordan Tower, holds Dascom and his crew in detonator point, and makes him broadcast his video. Made Dascom seal off the building with his desk console. He knew the transmitter was inside the tower. Must have. With the building sealed off, he knew we couldn't get in and pull the plug on him straight away. Bloody ingenious. Of course, he couldn't get out either. He sent everyone but Dascom out of the control room just before we got there. When my lads burst in, he was standing in front of the observation window. He didn't even put up a fight. They just opened up with shooters and, where's Dascom? Sorry, Dascom, where is he? Well, I don't know. He must have wandered off somewhere in a daze, I'd expect. He had a shock. You can say that again. He takes off the mask and it's Dascom. How long ago did this happen? But 10 or 15 minutes. There's the slimmest chance that he's still inside the building somewhere. Search it. And then perhaps one of your wooden tops could call on Mr. Allman's widow. She and Dascom had been close lately. All right, French, no need to start on my lads. Christ, anyone can make a mistake. Not with him, you can't. You make a mistake with him and you're dead. You or someone else. When are you going to stop treating this bastard as if he was human? When are you going to learn? When is everybody going to learn? Mr. Finch, it's all right, laddie. You let him carry on. Everybody knows he's been in a state since that doctor he was kipping with got bumped off. And then so he went after Delia, right? Remember, it's implied that Finch and Delia had a romantic relationship. So he gets this look on his face and then drops the mask. And then the next scene is him just like clocking him. He says, "Why did I hit him?" The leader was good about it, really. I expected a lot more of a rollicking than I got. And then sending me here to Norfolk, sending me on a holiday, for God's sake. I mean, there's nothing here since the '89 flood, but a holiday, he must have been worried about me. I'm worried about me. Dominic sounded all right on the phone last night, coping well enough. Took me an hour to get through, and we talked for 4 minutes. I wonder if it was him who told everybody about me and Delia. Probably Delia. She said she hadn't, but, well, she never told me about what she'd done at Larkhill. We only did it 3 times, all told, all those years. We shared that bottle of scotch she brought over at my house, and I made us bacon and eggs at 4 in the morning. Oh, hello. Hello, Gord. Hello, Gord. It's all right. Not stopping, just dropped by to say we found someone to offload the booze on. Bloke over in Pimlico. Magic. Tell Terry I'll see him Saturday about the money. Yeah, okay. How's the lodger, by the way? Terry mentioned she's all right. You tell Terry Saturday, then. No problem. See you, Gord. What was that? Old lady asked if I wanted to give her some money for waifs and strays. Told her I'd already got one. Liar! Sorry, guys. Your egg's done if you're out of the bath. It's got a stringy bit in. That's your egg. Mine's the one without the stringy bit. You sound happier this morning. Where are you? In here. There were hairs all around the bath. Man's got to have a hobby. Mine's drowning kittens. Whew. Boy, that's a sense of humor, eh? Are you decent? Yeah, come in. There. You're cheering up a bit then? Getting over that bloke you were living with? Yeah, well, he was never really what you might call I was never really what you might call living with him. It wasn't that sort of thing. No, and neither is this. I'd better get back downstairs and eat my stringy egg before I'm overcome by your voluptuousness. No need to be sparky just because I got the best egg. No. Glad you're feeling better anyway. It can mess you up when somebody knocks you out. Yeah, well, not anymore. To tell you the truth, Gordon, I don't even think about him. So this is Evie. Evie is living with this gentleman. So something has happened that we're not aware of. Panel 18 is this scene of like the nightclub. It's like the cabaret show stuff. And then we have, this is Allman's widow, I believe. And she has I think this is her. It's setting it up for, she ends up working at this place as like a burlesque dancer. Okay. I'm not politically ticklish, and theory makes me weary, and affairs of state aren't my kind of affairs. And I never bed, nor much less wed, the wag whose flag is deepest red. My taste runs more to Londonderry airs. But it rallies in the night, with all the torches burning bright. I feel a stirring in me I cannot neglect. And I'll grasp with mad abandon any lad with armband on, and whose cute salute is manly and erect. I like the boots, da-da-da-da, I like the attitude, I like the point at which the legal meets the lewd. I like the thrill, da-da-da-da, of the triumphant will. I like the marching and the music and the mood. So this is like fascist burlesque. This is fun. Okay. So I guess here's Gordon and Evie. They're watching this go on. So if some blonde and blue-eyed boy would remember, that's Hitler's Aryan archetype, blonde hair, blue eyes. So it's another fascism reference. So if some blonde and blue-eyed boy would care to teach me strength through joy, the Kitty Cat Keller. First I was a bit too scared to enjoy it. Now I'm a bit too drunk. So that's the name of the bar, the club. And so this is kind of confusing because, and this is one of the things with graphic novels, you can see here the jagged edges around the word bubble. That's the singing that's going on. And then this down here, the little block, that's what she's thinking inside of her head. So it's the different border around the word bubble that tells you which is which. Excuse me. And see that all my liberal tendencies are cured. If it should be decreed by fate that you invade my neighboring state, still it was nice of Gordon to bring me in. I like him. Then you will find my frontiers open, rest assured. You want another? Oh, yeah, go on then. He knows some interesting people. Not very nice, but interesting. I like the boots, da-da-da-da. There's the, okay. There's the robbery man, the one who's upset about his mother, and asks Gordon to do something, a big gangster on the way out. And when they hile, and I smile and liquefy inside. And that pinched-looking woman Rose something. Nobody will sit near her because her last two men got killed. She looks lonely. Oh, wait, someone's going over. Oh, wait, so that wasn't Rose. Rose is in the club, obviously pondering doing this as a profession. I like their skin, da-da-da-da. I like their discipline. Miss Alban, I'm sorry. The computer says this entry card is overdrawn. I'll have to ask. Sorry. He's taking her outside now, perhaps to another club. I'm glad she's got somebody. And the enormous sense of license it provides. There, go steady. That's your fifth. I'm all right. All right, since you took me in anyway. Christ, I was so lucky. If anybody else had found me nicking from their dustbin. Thank you, Zoe. Zoe will be back later. You sure look funny. No, I'm fine, really. Just not used to this sort of place. Who's that man over there? That's Creedy. Big boss copper. New bloke. The old one got killed. Why? Your friend Robert's talking to him. Oh, God, so he is. Look, just ignore it, eh? Might get nasty. Nasty? 6 lovely girls. Give him a big hand. Not there. Not there, Corporal. Ha, ha, ha. Okay, that's the guy on the microphone. What does he mean, nasty? Wish he wouldn't treat me like a kid. Mr. Creedy, please. Me and Mr. Allman had an understanding about my mother. She was exempt. My word, it's all happening here tonight. Mr. Allman's dead, Robert. Things are different now. You don't have special status anymore, and your mom should have been in a home a long time ago. Homes? They're gas chambers. And 1 and 2, not gas, if you want the truth, Robert. There's just 3 good South Ken boys with iron bars. Now get out of my sight, you miserable old pansy. Aren't they gorgeous? Doesn't look nasty. Pub Rose, C1, you've seen them all, really. What are they doing on stage? What an experience. Ha ha ha. Oh, Gordon, that's horrible. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not as strong as this usually. Let's have this drink and then... Goody, hello. Oh, evening, Allie. It's good to see you, Gordy. You not been getting about much, eh? No, not much. Sorry, this is Cockney, so it's very difficult to read. Ally? Gordon mentioned, oh no, that's the Scottish bloke Gordon said about Harper. All right, that's your lot. Off they go. What did he say? All the troubles and bombings up north, all the Scottish gangs are moving to London. My mouth tastes funny. Must be busy, eh? The marionettes. It's awfully nice bit of rumpy-pumpy you got there, Gordy. Leave it out, Ally. I'm not in the mood. He said there'd be friction, and here, is he talking about me? Aw, suit yourself, eh? Look who it is. Oh, no. Right, who's for a sing-song? Gordon, lad. I'm finished, boys. I've had it. They've done me, ma'am, and I'm next. Hey, Bobby, press off, will ya? I'm not partial to drinking with lepers. Look, Robert, I'm sorry. So obviously Gordon is her new boyfriend or whatever is some kind of, I think he's a bootlegger or something. Somebody who's like into gang activity and crime. And this place, the Kitty Cat Keller, is like a mob hangout, basically. You're sorry, I'm sorry, everybody's sorry. We shouldn't have to live like this. Roll out the barrel. We'll have a barrel of fun. Ah, Christ. Robert, look, I'm just going. Roll out the barrel. Let's get the blues on the run. Come on, Evie. You know what I wish? I wish the bastard bomb had it in bastard London. That's what I wish. I wish we were all dead. It'd be better. Sing boom tarara. Let's have a song of good cheer. Now's the time to roll the barrel. I've had too much to drink, 'cause the gang's all here. So the place just like erupts into a fight, because all of these people, because there's been a power shift and different people have died and stuff. There's all this like violence and stuff going on. So they ditch out on the Kitty Cat Keller, going down the alleyway. He wasn't right, was he? We shouldn't have to live like this, should we? No, kid, we shouldn't. What are you going to do about it? And we see V is up watching her from the top. And then we have this shot of, I guess this is V jumping over the space between buildings. Chapter 7, Visitors. All right, so we have, oh yeah, there's a chase. They're chasing Gordon down this alley. He's running away. And then it's like a flashback. April 15th, 1998. Evie, yeah. I wanted to know, I wanted to talk to you. What about? Is something up? Well, no, what I was going to say was, well, you've been here a few months now, up in the front bedroom. The thing is, I'll be needing that room soon. Got some stuff coming. You want me to go? Go? Jesus Christ, no, of course I don't want you to go. But where am I going to sleep? Well, you know, there's my room. And then she gives him this look. He's like, are you sure? I mean, I thought you liked it, you know, just being on your own. Won't I get in the way? Sorry, guys, all this pollen is getting to me. And then it's like, okay, so there's scenes of them like in bed, and then it flashes to this, back to the moment where they're talking about it. Of course you won't. I mean, I'd have said something before, but, well, I didn't think you'd fancy the idea. Well, I do. Ha, I feel really stupid now. I don't. Will you give me a kiss? All right. So things are pretty serious with Gordon, as you can see. She hugs him. June 11th, 1998. Evie! Gordon, what's? Visitors! Lock yourself in the bathroom and don't make a peep. But what? Go on! Gordy? Hello? I say, Gordy, looks like you got me locked out, no? I tell you what, you cannot hurt you now, eh? How about using talk for a while? Maybe tonight, Gordy, you know, maybe you can handle the booze all content, and I'll content myself with the literature. You're a greedy bastard, Harper. You want everything. And anyway, who's going to put Kipper's face back in order? Aye, well, accidents happen, Gordy. I tell you what, can I hear you so good? Why don't you give yourself over by the door? Perhaps we can work out some compensation for poor old Kipper, eh? I'll take more than bastard compensation, you vicious git. He couldn't even see. Aye, well, just listen. I'm up to my offer, eh? I certainly think you'll be surprised. And then he like leans up to the door and he says, well, and then this guy, this is like a scimitar, like some kind of medieval sword. And they just plunge it through the door and impale him. And then she's like, Gordon, can I come out yet? And they walk away. And we see this view of the building that they're in. And we see a close-up on the window, and then Evie's face. She's been abandoned, yet again, abandoned. So this is obviously going to do horrible things to Evie's psyche. But Evie is looking to fill a void that, and she's looking to fill it with other people. But I think the point is that Evie's going to have to figure out who she is and fill the void herself, right? She can't keep looking for like daddy or a lover or something like that. She's got to become somebody who can stand on her own, right? So pretty sad. Didn't want Gordon to die, but in the film, Gordon is a news broadcaster, and it's a very different take. Okay. Here we go. We got Gordon on the floor. Evening Post, crime figures fall. All right. Got him sitting there, and she's sitting on the couch, and then she thinks about her mom dying, and then she thinks about her dad getting taken away, and then she thinks about V leaving her, and then she thinks about Gordon dying, and then she just looks at him, and she walks into the bedroom. She thinks about them having sex. She opens up the drawer, and there's a revolver inside. She takes the revolver, and she's obviously planning to do something with it, probably get revenge on Gordon's murderers because they were at the Kitty Cat Keller. So she goes back to the Kitty Cat Keller. Somebody stops her. Excuse me. I think that's the sound, right? Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I startled you. I wonder if you knew where the stage door was. Stage? I have a job. I start tonight. I can't find the stage door. No. No, I don't know where it is. I'm sorry. Perhaps around the back. Your name's Rose, isn't it? Yes. Yes, that's right. Well, look, I'll have another look. Thanks anyway. Sorry if I startled you. That's all right. So that's Rose Allman. She's going to get a job at the burlesque stuff. Okay, so then Evie walks behind the alleyway, and when she walks back there, she's standing, waiting, like lurking, trying to wait for the person to come by. Then there's some lights put on her, and she like hides. Hang on a second. Oh man, this Cockney stuff is really. Hey Bob, you getting them in, eh? Hey, you's a tight bastard, yeah. Hey, go on, get a penny heavy and a baby chum for yourself, eh? Piss off, will ya? What's the matter, Bob? We're celebrating. Did not feel like celebrating or what? Drink of muscle. I'm getting steaming. I don't know what the hell. I'm sorry, guys. I don't. Sometimes I can't read this at all. If you've ever heard like Cockney accent is like a London city accent, and it's very different. You know, there's the proper British. That's well, there's several different accents in Britain, but there's like, oh hello, how are you today? And then there is hello, governor. And that's what we're dealing with the Cockney accent. So who's the one with the big tits? Is that Carol? No, that's Jim's bird. What's her name? Diana. I'm just going to say Diana. I know it didn't say that. That's right. All right, she pulls the gun out. Carol's one that works for what's her name? The Eye. Pulls the gun. He's walking by. She's going to shoot him. Oh, she's snagged by somebody with a surly looking face. And then she falls like Alice down into Wonderland. All right. The air around me is completely black. I think that perhaps I'm backstage at the theater during the interval. There are muffled bumpings nearby. Stagehands are rearranging the scenery. I smell roses and think about the scented birthday cards my mother found in a shoe box at our house on Shooter's Hill. The petals fall, pencil shavings of cream flesh. Everything changes. It's my birthday. I'm still in the theater, but I know it's really our old house. I can have a party in the room upstairs. I know it's a birthday party for me, but I have a sinking feeling that it will be over by the time that I get there. I'm taking so long to get ready. This is her dream, obviously. I don't even know why I'm bothering to get dressed up like this, but I feel as if it's expected of me. I wish I didn't have to. I want to go to the party now. Evie? You're missing the party. We hired a punch and Judy man specially. I'm glad Dad could come. I haven't seen much of him since I started to work at the match factory. Now remember, that's out of order because he had already gone by then. He leads me upstairs to the party, and I wonder if this is our old house after all. Come on. Sorry, guys. Take forever to load. The stairs remind me of someone else, and I feel sad, but I don't know why. It looks like I would get to the party after all, but then Dad steers me into one of the bedrooms, and that's not Dad, that's Gordon. So Dad has changed, which is obviously a commentary on how she's looking for a father figure. She's looking for like paternal guidance and like the missing. She's trying to fill the void, and she keeps trying to fill it with these random people that she meets, and she kind of like changes herself to acclimate to those people. But really, she's going to have to figure out what she's about, right? He wants to show me the sky from the window. He says it's yellow and black. He tells me he needs my old room to hide something in, but that I can sleep with him in here from now on. The room looks familiar too, but I don't know why. It's the priest's room, right? And then you see he is the priest. He starts to kiss me and we get into bed. I wonder if he's ill. He looks so old suddenly. Then the door opens and my mother comes in. I realize that I'm in bed with my father and I start to apologize. Very weird stuff going on, right? She doesn't seem too mad. She tells me that the Punch and Judy man is about to start. I realize she wants to be alone with Dad, so I go next door. Outside, the corridor looks different. I'm certain now that this isn't our house. But where am I? Suddenly, I remember that I'm in an old folks' home in Kensington. The Punch and Judy man has been arranged to entertain the inmates. Why did I think it was my birthday? You ever had that in a dream where like the dream changes premises over and over again and you don't even realize it? I moved through the crowd for a better look at what's happening on stage. Some volunteers have gone up from the audience. They're standing in a line in front of Mr. Punch. I think I know some of them. What's he going to do? All right, he's got like a mallet. He's lopping people's heads off. That's the way to do it. Oh, dear, dear, dear. Why doesn't somebody stop him? Everybody's just laughing. I run off to find my mom and dad, knowing as I do that he's sure to follow me. So the punch man or whatever is going to follow. Remember, that's what V was dressed like, screwed with Prothero. And then now you see that the person chasing her is V. I'm very frightened now. I don't recognize any of the corridors, and Mr. Punchman will turn the corridor behind me any second. I can hear my heart hammering inside me. There is no other noise in the whole theater. Everyone else must be dead. Mom, Dad, Gordon. They've left me all alone with him. I turn and run back the way I come, but the corridor has gone. There's a big flight of spiral stairs instead. Remember, this is the shadow gallery. My legs are heavy. I can hardly move them. He's going to catch me. I get to the top of the stairs and I look down the well. He's coming up after me. Round and round he goes. Come on. Oh, I need a new internet provider. Okay, I remember that there's a lift up here that goes all the way down to the basement. I'll never get to it in time. Well, he's right behind me. I'm almost there. Down to the ground floor. He'll have to take the stairs and then he grabs her. Okay, so she's been caught by B, which is weird because she kind of had positive associations with B. All right, now here we are in a cell. She wakes up, looks, sees the party slogan, looks through the bars. We have a large shot of her in the cell, sort of bewildered, like, oh my God, I'm in a cell. And then here we go. There's a rat. I sit on the cot, hardwood against my bum, knees stiff with cramp drawn up to my chin. There's a rat. I try not to think about anything at all, except there's a rat, and I think they're going to kill me. There's 4 walls, 2 windows with 6 bars, 1 toilet with no seat, and there's a wooden partition and a cot. And carved on the name of the cot, it's got Emma. And there's me. And there's a rat. Later, the rat is gone. I hear 2 men talking in the corridor. Shortly after, a tray comes through the aperture in the door. I can't eat it. If I don't eat it, the rat will come back. There's a socket right up. I still can't eat it. There's a socket right up near the ceiling, but no bulb. When the window light falls, it's dark, and I try to sleep. There's a rat. Fixation on the rat is weird. Kind of reminds me of 1984. Those of you that read that with me, 1984 with Winston's rat obsession, or fear rather. Later, waking up, voices. She's asleep, lazy little cow. Wakey, wakey, darling. Come on, you've clapped out. Little pro, move it. Please do the necessary, Rossiter. Sir, what? My God. So this scrawny specimen is the famous Miss Hammond. No, where am I? What are you going to do? I won't. Shut up. Stop it. What are you doing? Please don't. I haven't done anything. What am I here for? I said, shut your hole. Walking, I can't see. Hands pushing me hard in the back. Finally, we stop. All right, take it off. Bright white lights that make me squint, and a man sitting down. My hands are shaking, and I want to go to the toilet. He asks me if I know why I'm here. I say no. He calls me a lying little bastard, and I feel I've been hit in the stomach. They show me some films next. There's a girl talking to a man. She's shoving her hips out at him, but she looks clumsy and awful. She's a prostitute, I think. Why are they showing me this? Is this... Oh, it's me. Last November, Westminster Bridge, and they were going to rape me. They had me up against the wall. They were going to kill me, and then... Oh, what's he say? Oh, Christ. They know. The man starts talking again, but I'm barely listening. What am I going to say? What can I tell them? He says I was found outside the Kitty Cat Keller by officers watching a club prior to a raid. I was chloroformed to avoid an alarm, and I had a loaded gun. I don't understand what he wants me to say. Why don't they stop the film? He has a Welsh accent. He keeps talking. And then he tells me that I'm to be formally charged with the attempted murder of Senior Officer Peter Creedy, a frequent customer of the Kitty Cat Keller. And then the man behind me puts the blindfold back on. Blind, stumbling, someone's hand on my wrist, tight enough to hurt. We go somewhere. They push me down. I scream, expecting to fall. But there's a chair. Someone grabs hold of my hair. What are they doing? I feel them cutting at it. And then there's something wet. Oh no, oh God, they don't need to do this. They're shaving her head, which is very humiliating. This is part of the process of like breaking you down so that you'll be more willing to confess and stuff like that. After a long time, it's finished. A door opens. I can hear a woman's voice very close. A doctor. Did I hear someone say that? They stand me up and I'm given an examination. I think it's the woman. And then they take me somewhere else and they take off the blindfold. And there's a cell and there's a rat. So we're back on the rat position. Only now I don't mind the rat because I'm no better. It's dark and I cry for a long time. Later, waking up, oh God, I remember they cut off my hair. What woke me? A noise? Rustling? There's a rat. I get up, it's almost light, and I can see the hole in the wall. There's something sticking out of it. Not a rat. Toilet paper. But why? There are 5 pages written in pencil. I look at the bottom of the last page first. Her name is Valerie. And then it shows her sleeping there. I know every inch of this cell. I know every pitted indentation in the rough plaster like I know my own body. I don't know where I am. I know it gets dark and then light. I wake and then sleep, and the time passes measured in hair growing back beneath my arms where they won't let me shave. I don't know what day it is. I know there is a woman who wrote me a letter on toilet paper. I know she's alone. I know that she loves me. I don't know what she looks like. I read her letter, I hide it, I sleep, I wake. They question me, I cry. It gets dark, it gets light. I read her letter again, over and over. Her name is Valerie. All right, so this is the story of Valerie. This is what's on the letter written on toilet paper in the cell. When it decides to load, I will read it to you. I'm never going to talk bad about the computers at school again. Okay. I was born in Nottingham in 1957, and it rained a lot. I passed my 11 plus and went to the girls' grammar. I wanted to be an actress. I met my first girlfriend at school. Her name was Sarah. She was 14 and I was 15, but we were both in Miss Watson's class. It was her wrists. Her wrists were beautiful. I sat in biology class, staring at the pickled rabbit fetus in the jar, listening while Mr. Hurd said it was an adolescent phase that people outgrew. Sarah did. I didn't. In 1976, I stopped pretending and took a girl called Christine home to meet my parents. A week later, I moved to London, enrolling at drama college. My mother said that I broke her heart. But it was my integrity that was important. Is that so selfish? It bells for so little, but it's all we have in this place. It's the very last inch of us. But within that inch, we are free. And it's interesting how they have this like nice sort of garden scene where she's looking out over the pond, and it shows Evie getting waterboarded over here. Very different take than 1984, right? For those of you that have read it. This maintains that there's an inch of you that they can't get to. But then in 1984, it's like, no, they can get that too. All right. Now, Ms. Hammond, let's review the facts. You work for Codename V. Codename V kills security officers. Peter Creedy is a security officer. He frequents the Kitty Cat Keller. You were planning to murder Mr. Creedy under the orders of Codename V. You were found outside the establishment with a loaded gun. Isn't that what happened, Miss Hammond? No, please, it isn't true. Oh, dear, Rossiter, sir. No, wait, please don't. They waterboard her again. London. I was happy in London. Okay. And I wanted more than that. Work improved. I got small film roles, then bigger ones. In 1985, I started in the Salt. 1986, sorry. I started in the Salt Flats. It pulled the awards, but not the crowds. I met Ruth while working on that. We loved each other. We lived together, and on Valentine's Day, she sent me roses. And oh God, we had so much. Those were the best 3 years of my life. In 1988, there was the war. That was the year I was born. And after that, there were no more roses. Not for anybody. So it's the Norse fire, the fascists coming out. In 1992, after the takeover, they started rounding up the gays. They took Ruth while she was out looking for food. Why are they so frightened of us? They burned her with cigarette ends and made her give them my name. She signed a statement saying I'd seduced her. I didn't blame her. God, I loved her. I didn't blame her, but she did. She killed herself in her cell. She couldn't live with betraying me and giving up that last inch. Oh, Ruth. They came for me. They told me that all my films would be burned. They shaved off my hair. They held my head down, a toilet bowl, and told jokes about lesbians. They brought me here and gave me drugs. I can't feel my tongue anymore. I can't speak. The other gay woman here, Rita, died 2 weeks ago. I imagine I'll die quite soon. It is strange that my life should end in such a terrible place. But for 3 years I had roses, and I apologized to nobody. I shall die here. Every inch of me shall perish, except one. An inch. It's small, and it's fragile, and it's the only thing in the world that's worth having. We must never lose it or sell it or give it away. We must never let them take it from us. I don't know who you are, or whether you're a man or a woman. I may never see you. I will never hug you or cry with you or get drunk with you. But I love you. I hope that you escape this place. I hope that the world turns and that things get better and that one day people have roses again. I wish I could kiss you. Valerie. I know every inch of this cell. This cell knows every inch of me, except one. So she's obviously been inspired by this letter to endure. It's got several panels of like zooming in on her eye and stuff like that. Okay, so final volume. Um, Depending on if you're in my Coweta or my Mount Zion class, we may be nearing the end of the class time. If we are, and you guys have got to go, then just have whoever's monitoring the class can release you at time, and then you can watch the volume 7 on your own at home. It would be, this is more useful when I read it to you and stuff, when we're actually in class and I can answer your questions when you have them and stuff like that. But I think it's good to kind of go over the composition and talk about it. And it's what we would have been doing anyway. So. All right, V for Vendetta, volume 7, lucky number 7. All right. Yeah, there's the Lady Liberty from the Old Bailey. And here we are back with Evie. All right. My name is E. Hammond. On the 5th of November, 1997, I was abducted by the terrorist known as codename V, and then taken against my will to an unknown location. Once there, I was systematically brainwashed by means of drugs and torture, both physical and psychological. I was frequently subjected to sexual abuse during this period. Eventually, I was terrorized into helping him commit murders. These included the unlawful killings of Mr. Roger Dascombe, Mr. Derek Allman, Dr. Delia Surridge, and the Reverend Anthony Lilliman, Bishop of Westminster. I also undertook the attempted murder of Mr. Peter Creedy. I, the undersigned, swear that the above statement is genuine and that it was not signed by means of intimidation. We'd like you to sign that for us, Miss Hammond. Right, not signed by means of intimidation. Where we've put the little cross. No. As you wish. Escort Miss Hammond back to her cell, Rossiter, where she will wait while you arrange a detail of 6 men. Then take her out behind the chemical sheds and shoot her. So Evie is bucking the system here. She's going to die with her dignity. Good for her. Good for Evie. Well, not really good for Evie, but you know, hanging on to the inch, that's, I'll just stop. Okay, it's time. Unless you want to change your mind. Sign the statement. You could be out inside 3 years. Perhaps they'd find you a job with the finger. A lot of your sort can get work with the finger. Thank you, but I'd rather die behind the chemical sheds. Then there's nothing left to threaten you with, is there? You're free. What? And then the door just opens. It's like, wait a minute. She just looks kind of dumbly at the door, like, what? Walks out, walks into the hall. Oh my God, it's a mannequin, not a guard. That's weird. I thought it was a guard. But no, bigger, not smaller. She walks out, opens the door. There's the guy that was sitting there, like, interrogating her. He's a dummy too. There's a tape recorder. She presses play. It says, "We'd like you to sign that for us, Miss Hammond," where we put the little cross. So it's all fake. This is all fake. And she's starting to panic a little bit. Is this real life? Is this a dream? What? As you wish. Escort Miss Hammond back to her cell, Rossiter, where she will wait while you arrange a detail of 6 men, then take her out behind the chemical sheds and shoot her. And then she walks over, looks at the cage, and the rat, even the rat was a plant. The rat is being held in a cage. She walks to the end of the hall, opens it up, and we're in the shadow gallery. Uh-oh. Big reveal. And then this is why, of course, V is considered an anti-hero and not a protagonist. Because this is not... well, protagonist really just means that he's the character of focus, which he sort of is, but he's not like a character that you really want to root for because he's the one that kidnapped Evie and tortured her. If you want to go and see the scene from the film, look it up on YouTube. I could probably send out some links to some scenes. Very powerful scene. Natalie Portman, of course, excellent actress. Hugo Weaving, one of my favorites. He says, "Welcome home." And she just looks like, "What? You did this to me. You did this to me. You did this to me. You, oh God. Oh God," she's going into shock, right? You hit me and cut off my hair. It was you. It was just you all this time. You tortured me. Oh, you tortured me. Oh God, why? Because I love you. Because I want to set you free. Okay, so that's some manipulator stuff right there. Now he's looking like a dyed-in-the-wool sociopath, narcissist, right? And we were rooting for him a little bit, but man, he just, he keeps killing people and doing all this terrible stuff. Because set me free. Don't you realize? Don't you realize what you did to me? You nearly drove me mad, V. That's what it takes, Evie. I hate you. I hate you because you just talk. You just talk and you think you're so good and you don't have to make any sense. Nothing you say means anything. You say you love me and you don't because you just frighten me and torture me for a joke. You say you want to set me free and you put me in a prison. You're already in prison, Evie. You've been in prison all your life. Well, it's a good point. Think of William Blake, The Mind-Forged Manacles. He's not wrong, but it's still not really the time, V, to say that. Shut up. I don't want to hear it. I wasn't in prison. I was happy. I was happy until you threw me out. Come on. Happiness is a prison, Evie. Happiness is the most insidious prison of all. There's a very unpopular idea, but, if we really talked about it, I bet we could make that make sense. But that's warped. That's warped and evil and wrong. When you threw me out, I went to live with somebody. I was in love with him. I was happy. If that's a prison, then I don't care, don't you? Your lover lived in the penitentiary that you were all born into and was forced to rake the dregs of that world for his living. He knew affection and tenderness, but only briefly. Eventually, one of the other inmates stabbed him with a cutlass and drowned him upon his own blood. Is that it, Evie? Is that the happiness that's worth more than freedom? How did you know? How did you know what happened to Gordon? It's not an uncommon story, Evie. Many convicts meet with miserable ends. Your mother, your father, your lover, one by one, taken out behind the chemical sheds and shot. Let me open another soda here while this soda water. Come on, here we go. All convicts, hunched and deformed by the smallness of their cells, the weight of their chains, the unfairness of their sentences. I didn't put you in a prison, Evie. I just showed you the bars. You're wrong. It's just life, that's all. It's how life is. It's what we've got to put up with. It's all we've got. What gives you the right to decide it's not good enough? You're in a prison, Evie. You were born in a prison. You've been in a prison so long, you no longer believe there's an outside world. Shut up. You're mad. I don't want to hear it. That's because you're afraid, Evie. You're afraid because you can feel freedom closing in upon you. You're afraid because freedom is terrifying. Don't back away from it, Evie. Every part of you understands the truth, even the part that pretends not to. I can't feel anything. There's nothing to feel. Leave me alone. Woman, this is the most important moment of your life. Don't run from it. I don't know what you're... Oh, God, I can't breathe. Asthma. When I was a little girl. Good, you're almost there. Closer. Feel the shape of it. Your mother died. They took your father away. There's a little girl, Evie, and she's screaming. Oh, make it stop. Mommy, Daddy, please make it stop. Come on. What are you doing to me? Oh, I can't breathe. You're in a cell, Evie. They offered you a choice between the death of your principles and the death of your body. Oh, God, I can feel it. What is it? Oh, I'm going to burst. You said you'd rather die. You faced your fear of your own death, and you were calm and still. Try to feel now what you felt then. I, uh, oh God, I felt like an angel. Oh God, V, I'm so scared. I'm so cold. What's happening to me? The door of the cage is open, Evie. All that you feel is the wind from outside. Don't be afraid. Try to stand. Try to walk. The lift will take us up to the roof. I don't want to be blindfolded. No more, no, Evie, no more blindfolds. All the blindfolds are gone. Come on. Oh, it's raining. It must be cold. Do you feel it? No. And she looks. V, everything's so different. I feel so. I know. 5 years ago, I too came through a night like this, naked under a roaring sky. The night is yours. Seize it. Encircle it within your arms. Bury it in your heart up to the hilt. Become transfixed. Become transfigured forever. And then you see that sign that she's holding there with her arms up. It kind of looks like him when he was standing in the fire. And they make that connection later. Or they do in the film. They transpose those moments. September 3rd, 1998, The Nose. 6 months and not a peep. Do you think it's over, Mr. Finch? Sorry, Dominic, what did you say? I said, do you think it's all over? All over? Yes, I suppose it is. Wonderful books, these Kussler and Bronowski. You ought to read them sometime. Yes, perhaps I will. Look, Mr. Finch, maybe you should go home now. I can look after the shop. You've done enough today. Cobblers. I haven't done a stroke since I came back from the East Coast, and you've been carrying me. Perhaps you're right, though. Perhaps I will be getting along now. Oh, I picked up supplies from the pharmacy you gave me that chitty for. Philip said you'd have to call by later to sign the poisons register. I said you would. Hope that's okay. That's fine. Good night, lad. Shadow Gunner. Then he briskly fixed the torn remains for a fingerprint or crimson stains and endeavors to ignore the change that he walks into his knee. So he's singing the cabaret song again. All right, you guys remember when started the chapter with those music bars and singing the cabaret. V, and then he turns around and she kisses his mask. Thank you. Thank you for what you've done to me. You did it all yourself. I simply provided the backdrop. The drama was all your own. It was a good backdrop. I really believed I was in prison. It's still hard for me to accept that it was all just me and you. No guards, no interrogators, no Valerie. It's strange. I realize now that you must have composed this letter, Valerie's whole story, but it's so convincing. I believed in her without seeing her. I almost loved her, and she was never really there. I didn't write that letter, Evie. Please come with me. Okay, so he walks her back, and he's got Valerie's salt flats stuff, like in a little commemorative shrine or whatever in the back of his house. And he shows it to her, like these are pictures of her as an actress. Valerie wrote the letter in her own hand while she lived. I delivered to you as it was delivered to me. The words you wept over were those that transformed me 5 years earlier. V, she's beautiful. Who was she? She was the woman in room 4. The kitty cat Keller. And then we see that now we're at the kitty cat Keller, and room 4 has Rose in it, Rose Allman. Rose, Rosie, come on, we're on. Yes, all right. I'll be with you in a minute. Rosie. Come on. Rose, come on, gal. The martinettes are on in only 2 minutes. I'm sorry, I get a bit nervous before I go on. I was sick. Oh, well, we can't have you going on if you're poorly, can we? Can we still do the routine with 5? If you stay here in the dressing room until you feel better, and I'll keep you company. And the windows who refuse to cry will be dressed in cotter and bow tie and be forced to kick their legs up high in this vicious cabaret. And we're back to the Shadow Gallery. So we're transposing her story, Rosie's story. She's apparently going to have an important role to play, but we're not really sure what it is yet. And we're back in the Shadow Gallery. She says, roses. In her letter, Valerie said she hoped there would again be roses. Did you grow them for her? I grew them in her memory. I gave them to others upon occasion. Evie, once you told me you would not kill, not even for me. When I plucked you from the streets, you were about to kill a man. One austere Harper. You killed your lover. You wanted revenge. There's a rose here for him. You only have to pluck it and hand it to me. Nothing else. To pick a flower is not a large thing. It is as easy as it is irrevocable. Understand what is being offered here, and do as thou wilt. She takes the rose and decides not to pick it. Let it grow. So we see that she's transforming. She's undergone some sort of transfiguration. So now I think we're getting closer to the Evie that is supposed to be the one we are invested in. The head. He looks at the computer, says, I love you, and he freaks out. Ah! So maybe he's losing his mind. Leader! You called out. Are you all right? I didn't call out. I coughed. You may return to your work. England prevails. And he hungers in his secret dreams for the harsh embrace of cruel machines, but his lover is not what she seems, and she will not leave a note. So this is like the cabaret song, which I think is not really communicated great how this is going, but, V was singing the cabaret song at the start. The Shadow Gallery. What are you going to do next? Next? The finale, I think. I think the finale is next. Will I be needed? Oh, yes, you'll be needed, but not until the very end. That would be sooner than you think. You must prepare yourself. What for? We had Mr. Finch sitting there. You'll know when it comes. And you? Maybe. I'm going to give the world what Valerie wanted it to have. Roses. A great abundance of roses. Shall we dance? And they're dancing. But the backdrops feel, and the sets give way, and the cast get eaten by the play. There's a murderer at the matinee. There are dead men in the aisles, and the patrons and the actors too are uncertain if the show is through, and with the sidelong looks await their cue. But the frozen mask just smiles. Into Volume 2. Interlude. It is Britain, 1998. The mills of justice grind slowly, and they grind exceedingly small. One more chance, Ryan. One more chance to tell us what you know about this V bloke. And I don't want to hear any more porky pies. After all, they don't call it a police state for nothing. I don't know anything. Please, I've told you all about all this. You won't listen. You listen, chummy. I'm sick of listening. There's a subversive nutcase on the loose out there. He's caused this country more trouble than the First, Second, and Third Wars put together. He can't be doing it on his own now, can he? He's got to have a firm backing him. Stands to reason. And now you say that you don't know anything about that. I say cobblers. All right, Ryan, you've had your chance. I think it's time for you to take a walk around the block. The window's over there. Get going. The window? What's that to do with... Oh, my God, you can't be serious. I don't hear anybody laughing. You hear anybody laughing? So they're going to make him go out the window. Out the window, Ryan. It's only once around the block. Maybe the fresh air will improve your memory. Oh, Christ. You can't do this. It isn't legal. I'll complain. Yeah. We'll have the complaint forms waiting when you get back. Anyway, what's the matter, Ryan? You dropping your bottle? It'll be a piece of cake, mate. The ledge is 18 inches wide. If it was on the ground, you wouldn't even think twice about it. See you later. But the ledge isn't on the ground. It's 15 stories up, and the soft click of the window closing behind him sounds like iron doors slamming shut on his life. I'll tell the cleanup boys to have a body bag round the front in the morning. Looks like another case successfully concluded for the boys in gray. Yeah, you reckon this Ryan's got something to do with this V character then? Grow up, John. Of course he hasn't. He's just some poor planet who talks about the wrong things too loud in the wrong places. Nah, I just had a bad week of it with Carol and the kids, and she's giving me grief. John, I thought I'd spread it around a bit. It's no sweat. There's nothing in the records to say we've even pulled him in. Anyway, who's going to care what happens to a zero like Ryan? Okay, so they're just like torturing this guy just for fun. Poor Ryan. And then V is on the rooftop. So maybe someone does care. Perhaps they're wrong. The ledge is 18 inches wide. If it was on the ground, you wouldn't think twice about it. There's really no difference at all, really. Well, perhaps there are some differences. There's that sick tingling feeling in the soles of your feet. You don't get that on the ground. There's a horribly fascinating whisper that echoes through your mind. What will it be like when I hit? Will I be conscious? Will it hurt? There are things that don't occur to you when you're on the ground. And then, of course, there are the crosswinds that howl around the edge of these tall concrete geometers. Oh, God, oh. Things like that never occur to you until it's too late. And then he's grabbed by V. He faints, black-gloved hands drag him to safety, and he doesn't know a thing about it. I'm almost done here, folks, trying to get through. Some of you probably. If you got to go because of time at Coweta, go ahead and do so. Just be sure that you finish this. Meanwhile, has he been gone 10 minutes now? Colin, what do you reckon? I reckon that the wind would have had him off the first corner. Suppose better have a look. Nah, no sign of him. Looks like he decided to enter the freestyle hanging gliding championships. Come on, let's hit the bricks. I've had a long day of it, and the cow starts up in the minute I'm in the door. I'm going to chin her. On second thought, how about stopping off at the officer's mess for a swift game of John? John, did you just hear something? A sort of cracking noise? Oh, Christ, it's you, isn't it? You're him. Oh, bloody hell. Listen, I've heard about you. You're only after the party high-ups. I'm just a copper. You don't want nothing with me, do you? Oh, no, you can't want me to. The officers working for the Finger have a name for this, man. They call him V. He strikes without warning. He kills without compassion. He is utterly deadly. Come on. Imagine you had a choice between certain death from a black-gloved hand and the chance, however slim, of escape. What would you do? All right, all right. After a few moments, the man who never stops smiling quietly closes the window. He cannot abide drafts. Of course, the drafts inside are nothing compared to the ones outside. Inspector Colin Clark has worked for the Finger since it was formed in 1992, 6 years ago. And before that, he was a soldier. Excuse me. He had to cope with worse than this in his training courses now, much worse. He can make it. He knows he can. After all, 18 inches is a lot of room. If he was on the ground, you wouldn't think twice about it. He takes a step. He takes another step. Again. There's the man. There's the ledge. There's the dismal drone of the wind. The uncaring glimmer of the distant stars. Beyond that, there's only slapstick. He takes a step. Slapstick. Things like that never occur to you until it's far too late. So V leaves a banana peel for him, which is pretty funny. Like slapstick comedy, just kind of silly. So the guy falls off. And then we have the dude standing by the door. Mr. Finch walks by and he salutes him. Then we have V looking through the thing with Valerie. And he salutes that guy. And then V beats his way out of the office or the building. And he is running, beating everybody up, trying to leave, running towards the door. The doorman looks behind. Is he going to stop him? Should he stop him? What do you think? He opens the door and salutes him. Now, this is a very important moment because it shows that the common people are starting to sympathize with the terrorist. And he just looks back and looks at him. He's like, have a good day, sir. And that's the end of the volume. So those are the 3 volumes. We got a lot of stuff developing here. This is becoming a very interesting story. The transformation of Evie, very important. And what's the culmination? What's the end going to be? What do you think the big finale is that's being planned? So be sure to have the next 3 volumes read by the time you come into class, and we'll finish it up. I thank you guys for being understanding about all this crazy stuff with the baby coming early and all that stuff. Hate to have to do it this way, but it's better than nothing. So please email me if you have any questions. Check out your essay grades, and have a great afternoon.